Hey guys, today we're playing Sonic Generations on the PlayStation 3. I recorded this a long time ago. As you may have noticed, I deleted the game. The footage of the gameplay, and I started over again because I wasn't happy with what I filmed. Again, the commentary might be better than this one, but it's a little too late to look back on that now. So basically, this is kind of a time travel story, really. It goes through Sonic through his 16-bit days all the way to his recent games, and it does it in a way where there's one part of the level that's 3D, and then there's a traditional 2.5D, even though traditional wouldn't be 2.5D, it would actually be 2D, but there's like a 2D version. It plays two different Sonics. We'll start out as the chubby Sonic. I believe this is the chubby Sonic. It's the Sonic that I like the most. I never liked it when Sonic started talking. The guy who plays Steve Urkel on Family Matters actually did Sonic's voice, which is kind of weird. At least for the cartoon shows. I don't know about the current video games. So I really like this game. This game got mixed reviews, but to me, it didn't have any like hub world or anything where you had to talk to people or you didn't have to play as different characters. It went basically to the kind of gameplay that I liked, and I liked it better than Sonic 4. I never really got to play Sonic 4 Episode 2 though, so I can't completely say I liked it better than Sonic 4, but from what I played on the demo, this seems better. If they make a new Sonic game, I hope they make a sequel to this. Sonic's kind of lost his charm. It sucks because Sonic used to be Sega's main competitor against Mario, and Mario's thrived. Like, Mario could be on a Tampax box and it would probably sell well. On the other hand, Sonic's, like, I don't know, he's just not the Sonic that I remember where they had Hedgehog's Day instead of Groundhog's Day when Sonic 3 came out. Sonic would never get his own day now. So this is basically a remake of the level from Sonic 1. I really don't think it's the actual layout of the original game. But I never really liked Sonic 1. I really liked Sonic 2 the best, so I didn't play much of Sonic 1. And as you can see, Sonic has a spin dash. He didn't have one in Sonic 1. Although he did have one in the remake on Saturn, the Sonic Jam Collection or whatever the heck it was called, which had a really cool 3D museum. I wish I got to play it. I've only seen it on videos. What the hell am I doing? I'm wasting my time here. I definitely don't remember totem poles being in the level, but maybe they just weren't as colorful. That could have been easily avoided. The 2.5D view works really well. I've not played the Xbox 360 version, but I imagine it probably looks better because this looks like it implements the PlayStation 3 blur effect a little bit that the Xbox 360 doesn't tend to have. This game is also compatible with the 3D mode. It looks pretty cool, but you have to get just the right angle, otherwise you're gonna suffer from some ghosting issues, which isn't fun for anyone. Be sure to leave a lot of space before you actually hit that sign. I already finished all these levels, so at least the ones that I'm playing now. So yeah, they're basically just ways to make your score higher. Now you have to replay each level at least twice. No, you don't have to play each level twice. like specifically because there's basically 3 parts of each level, but you have like little trials you have to complete. You have to complete at least 3, and you have about 9 different trials that you can complete. So yeah, I don't know, I said that completely wrong. Now let me switch to regular Sonic. Alright, now we're playing the 3D version of this level. Now let me reword how it is. Awesome. This is probably why I have such a low subscriber rate. Not that I'm complaining, I like the people I have. But basically before each boss that you battle, there's 3 worlds from older Sonic games, and each world has about 3 challenges, and you have to beat at least 1 challenge after you finish the initial level for each world. So you have to finish 3 challenges out of the 3 worlds. So you don't have to finish all of them, but you need to get 3 keys to complete the whole level to be able to move on and fight the boss, which is kind of annoying because I just want to play the game. I don't want to replay the levels. I feel like that should be an option after you beat the game. This looks pretty cool in 3D when you play the 3D Sonic levels. 2D levels are kind of disorienting a little bit, believe it or not. Ouch. Unfortunately, they start to copy Sonic's newer games more later on, level wise. I wish they would have did more 2D renditions of Sonic's games, or more 3D renditions of the 2D. I don't know if this Tony Hawk Pro Skater stunt thing that he just did was, but I guess it looks cool to kids. Oops. I died. That means I won't get an A. But I wish they would have did more levels based on his older games than the newer games. But there's so many games that Sonic's come out with, especially on the Wii, and I'm not too familiar with those levels, and I'm not that familiar with the levels in the first Sonic game that came out on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, because it was pretty terrible. I don't think I've ever fallen down on that until I recorded this video. That looks pretty cool when you play in 3D on the TV. Let me do my Tony Hawk's Pro Skater little stunt thing. Oh, thank goodness. I thought I was gonna fall in a pit. These 3D levels are kind of weird because they kind of go back to a 2D mode a little bit. But he does have that zoom attack, or homing attack, or whatever you want to call it, where if you double tap the jump button, he zones into the closest enemy. Apparently Sonic's shoes have metal on them because they spark. He tap dances on his free time, I guess. I'm playing this sitting Indian style real close to the TV on the floor. Like my neck can't look up any higher. I wish I could find a big tripod for this snowball microphone. I always have all these ghetto rigged, like little stacks of books or rubber bands attached to things, rigged up just so I can put the camera in a decent position so I can play. But playing this close to the TV is kind of hard. It kind of makes it hard to think and do a commentary and play decent, which, as you can see, I'm struggling with a bit, as you can see and hear. Only a B. Oh well. In school that would still be considered decent unless you had like Nazi mean parents that tried to make you succeed in everything until they realized how much tuition cost, even with student loans and scholarships, and then they're not encouraging you anymore. But yeah, I got some artwork. Great. I really don't care though. Alright, let's go to the chemical plant zone. This probably looks familiar if you played Sonic 2 as much as me. By the time I got a Sega Genesis, Sonic 2 came with this Genesis, so this is technically the first game I ever got. I got this, and my parents also got me X-Men because I was a huge X-Men fan at the time. Thanks to the cartoon show that's somewhat unwatchable now. But it got me into comics. I take it back. Batman the Animated Series, that still actually holds up. That got me into comics, but X-Men, I guess, at that time was the newest thing until Spider-Man got his own show. It's always the cartoons that always got me into reading the comic books as a kid. My parents never took me to a comic book shop until I got older. So the only comics were available were the ones at the convenience mart, and it's weird, the convenience mart doesn't sell them anymore. They also used to have arcade machines in the convenience mart too. They don't have that anymore either. I think this game's supposed to run at 60 frames per minute, but at least this PlayStation 3 version, it looks like the frame rate skips a little bit. But it could be in my imagination. I used to hate this level on Sonic 2. Eventually, I figured it out. There's a Sonic arcade game with a trackball. Always wanted to play it. I've never seen it before in real life. Only seen people play it on MAME on YouTube. I don't know if that was a Japanese thing or what. Sometimes they got decent arcade games that we never got to try out. Those look like the fans on the back of like old computers. Oh, I'm running out of air. I'm so glad they kept that sound. I know they changed some of the sounds, but some have stayed the same. Just, I'm not going to attempt to do anything until I get more air. Come on. Playing with the analog stick, which I don't recommend doing now that I'm thinking about it. I switched to the digital pad. I only use the analog stick. At least, I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but I think it's easier to use the analog sticks on 3D levels and use the digital pad on the 2D levels. Although I do, and I do have an Xbox, so I'm not hating on the Xbox. I do like some of that exclusive stuff or some of the ports on the Xbox 360 better than PlayStation 3. Each system has its strengths and weaknesses, but I absolutely hate the digital pad on the 360. It's so inaccurate. Although I never played a real fighting game on it. Though I did try the demo of Street Fighter 3, it's still shit. You definitely want a decent D-pad for either one. The Sony D-pad hurts on fighting games after a while because the way it's made, it's not like one full, how would I describe it? It doesn't protrude out as like one full piece. It's kind of sectioned off, so it's kind of hard on the thumbs. But it's a lot more accurate than the 360 D-pad. Whoever invented that wasn't thinking at all, or never played games before, because it's absolutely appalling how inaccurate it is. And then they came out with the one that you twist, and then the plus part of the D-pad comes out a little bit. That doesn't help at all. I thought it would, and I got one of those pads, but it doesn't. But the Xbox 360's analog sticks and I think triggers are superior, at least when you first get a new controller, because the controllers on the 360s don't seem to center themselves after a while. They wear out, and if you don't put your stick exactly in the middle of the controller, you'll notice that your character starts to drift to the left or right depending on which way the stick's still leaning. I've never had that problem with the PlayStation 3 controller, but I do like that the analog sticks are a lot tighter, and I like that they're concave. But it looks like they fixed those problems with the PlayStation 4 controller, although I wish they left the start and select button, the pressure sensitive buttons, if they're gonna emulate the older PlayStation games, but that's yet to be seen. Man, it would have been cool if it was backwards compatible. It's one thing I kind of liked about the Sony systems that they quit doing. I mean, the least they could do, I think, is like what they did with the Xbox 360, is slowly maybe like emulate each of the games in a library. I cannot hear a word you're saying. No. Alright. Not as bad as I thought it was going to be. You get used to playing it in 3D, and then it switches to this 2D perspective, which kind of throws you off a bit. The newer Sonic games that are in 3D, when you actually get to play as Sonic, most of them, luckily you get to play as Sonic in all these games. I mean, in all the levels of this game. Sorry, I keep on correcting myself continuously in these videos. But the parts of the Sonic games that were actually fun and good, even the ones that weren't that good, were the parts that had Sonic in them. I did like the first Sonic Adventure, and even though it turned off a lot of people, I thought Sonic Heroes was actually a pretty good game. And I believe that didn't have a world on it. Yeah, sure, it was weird to control 3 different people. The PlayStation 2 version of that game looked horrible compared to the Xbox and GameCube version, so if you're curious, definitely stick with the Xbox or GameCube version. I unfortunately don't have either one. GameStop quit carrying older games, so unless I go to a flea market or I look out at like a Goodwill or any kind of like charity type store, a thrift store, or maybe or whatever, I don't really see any older games. Sometimes I might see PlayStation 2 games scattered here and there. I wish they had a retro store. I haven't been into a play and trade yet. I heard they might have retro games, but then other people say they just have the same shit that GameStop has, so I don't know. They opened one not too long ago and I've yet to go there, but if they had older games, I'd be a happy camper because I hate ordering shit. Not that I even have the money right now to splurge, but it's nice to talk out loud. Since I'm sitting so close to the TVs, textures I thought that were once sharp aren't so sharp. I guess it's so he could do cool stuff like that. I'll deal with slightly blurry textures as long as he does cool little stunts. And I don't know what's going on, but it looks cool. A lot of fire. Definitely has a chemical plant vibe going on. I mean, what's chemicals without flammable things? Alright, that was Sonic Generations on the PlayStation 3. This is also available on the Xbox 360 and the Nintendo 3DS, which actually has different levels. I kind of want to try that out. I think this is the best Sonic game in years. It's got mixed reviews, but if you like the older Sonic games on the Sega Genesis and at least Sonic Adventure 1, it doesn't have a hub world or anything like that. I highly recommend it. It's the best Sonic game, like I said, that I've played probably since the first Sonic Adventure. Well, anyway guys, thanks for watching my video and listening to my commentary and supporting the channel, yada yada yada. Talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye.